My name is Raya Skogland. I'm the CEO at the Visionary Company, Board and VC, which represents actually a group of different companies that invest, that's the VC part, and the management company where we deliver trainings and matchmaking for founders, investors, and board members. I'm also an investor, and if I mention the positions I have, it's actually not to brag, but it's actually to show that everything I have the past 4 years, it's thanks to LinkedIn. My board positions, it's thanks to LinkedIn. My investment committee positions, LinkedIn again. Fundraising and being a growth advisor for several companies, it's thanks to LinkedIn. So it's really a powerful machine when we start to leverage it. I mentioned a bit about the company. So we host trainings for companies and leaders on how to fundraise, build their brand, develop effective boards, and scale. We host international board trainings, very immersive in one hotel, one location, so we can get trained together on board simulations, but also network from breakfast to dinners. And they are delivered by top partners from our network. And we do co-invest also together in the opportunities that come through the network. I'm sharing this post with you that I have created 2 years ago. This is an example of how the impact of LinkedIn. Thanks to this post, we created a product for our company, basically the Visionary Board training. And we have been onboarding participants and clients from all around the world, also thanks to LinkedIn. So 2 years ago, I created this post saying that I was looking for female advisors and female board members for my portfolio companies. I have invested in many companies, but I was missing, there are a lot of board members, male one, great ones, but I was missing female board members. And here you see, we got 200 plus comments and 8 reposts. And you can imagine that my DM also exploded with profiles of board members and advisors, women and men as well, who were looking for board positions. So from like a LinkedIn post is an MVP to validate something and to start getting traction immediately. And this is how we got the right foundation, understanding there is a need. What can we do? We need to build a community. We need to train them. And obviously, there's so many wonderful people out there who have this need of working with or desire to work with startups and scale-ups. So what can we do for them? This is an example of the power of LinkedIn. The network, everybody is just one DM away, one connection away. The whole professional world is out there on LinkedIn. So it's a great opportunity to be visible and attract. So, little personal brand audit for you today. We will not do it today together because I want us to have time to answer your questions at the end. But I will really ask you, when you have time, Google yourself. What do you see? Are you visible or are you invisible? Are there articles about you, or is it your LinkedIn profile that shows up? This gives you a signal on what people will see about you when they Google you. When you're looking for a board position or when you interact with somebody, a new connection, online and offline, they may Google you. So what do they see? Are you happy with what they find? Then check your LinkedIn headline. Does it communicate what I do, what you do, how you do it, how you help? The headline, does it communicate that? Also, I will ask you to review your top 3 LinkedIn posts, the last ones. What have you put out there? What did you write? What are also the last 3 posts that you liked or commented on? Because this communicates something to your network. So what are you communicating to your network? Through your post and through your endorsement. When you like something, that communicates something to your network. So that's a personal audit. And we go through this presentation and you will understand better where we're going. So ask yourself, does this reflect a leader ready for a board seat? All the signals you give out there, does it reflect a leader ready for a board seat? Additional questions. Does my profile overall communicates clearly what I do, how I help, who I help? Is this message clear? Also, does my profile reflect someone for a board or advisory seat? How am I perceived? Am I a thought leader, an industry expert? Is my profile welcoming? How is my picture? How do I write? Does my profile and content communicate how I help? Again, three important questions, elements that your profile need to communicate. What I do needs to be clear, how I help, because it's always about the others, and who I help. So what, how, who, and you can also add the why. That's more in the bio section. So this is my LinkedIn journey. I would say there has been two phases in my LinkedIn journey. The first, the past 4 years since I started the Visionary Company Board and VC. The first 2 years were really about creating content, positioning myself as a thought leader to attract opportunities. And then we flipped the game where we started to leverage other strategies on LinkedIn. The past 2 years, I'm quite not that active on LinkedIn because I have built that strong foundation that has been a return that is now giving me a return on investment. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. The work I have done 2 years ago is still giving me because it builds my credibility. And now we are more into outbound, reaching out to the right people we want to work with on through LinkedIn. And because my profile and my team's profile is solid, the conversion is high. So there are different games on LinkedIn. There is the content and getting inbound, and there is the content and doing outbound. And there is also, like we're doing now, leveraging all the work we've done the past 4 years so we can approach people and we have credibility. Like I said, it's a gold mine. And the power of LinkedIn is going to fade in a few years, not to create any FOMO, but we already see it. You have seen it. There is a lot of generic content. There is a lot of AI content. And there is a lack of authenticity. Those who know how to write with authenticity, and I will share with you strategies and so on, and who know how to write, still have a chance to position themselves and have time to position themselves because they are authentic, because everything is AI, or most of the content out there is AI. But in 3 to 5 years, we don't know what other platform will be out there. And a lot of people now are starting to see the importance of building their brand and how to leverage it. So the time is really now to build your brand and position yourself, have this return on investment in the future. I will be brief about this. My LinkedIn journey, why I started. Well, basically to build my company and be open to more opportunities, build my investment and portfolio career, attract clients, investors, board position, and so on, and position myself as a thought leader to gain more visibility and expand my network. Some other opportunities, the last 2 years, I had the chance to coach 400 plus leaders. Again, thanks to the powerful machine of LinkedIn. And of course, it had an impact on our revenue growth and diversification and so on. So now let's go to the best practices and how to leverage LinkedIn. So personal branding is really not an ego-driven activity. It's about giving your career a competitive advantage. Of course, we all have all this self-awareness and we don't want to put ourselves out there. And we don't want to be like those who put themselves out there and are into like the humble brag. I'm honored and humble to have done. And we all look at it and we're like, we've seen this before. It's not, come on, let's do something else. What's in it for me? But the moment we understand that to position yourself on LinkedIn as a thought leader, as somebody that we can trust, it's not about you. It's about the others. Always keep in mind, how am I serving the others? How can I support the others through my content? What can I share for the others? Everything is about the others. It's not about us. So even if you get an award or an article, and of course, you should be proud of what you have achieved. We need to remember to give a little pat on the back to ourselves, but twist it, make it educational. What have you learned through that process? Make it about the others, not about us. This is where it's not an ego-driven activity anymore. It's about serving the others. And this is how you get this competitive advantage. If you have questions, and I'm sure you have questions, please keep them. And at the end, we will cover that. And I see it's 11:10, so we are on time. I hope we even have 20 minutes for questions at the end. So why this matters in 2025? You know these professionals, or most of them. Maybe Gary Vaynerchuk, you're not familiar with him. But you can also see a trend here. What do you notice? You notice easily that Bill Gates has 35 million followers, while Microsoft has 20 million followers. Same for all the other ones. And of course, there is a reason why. Because people trust people, not companies. Companies, it's behind the walls, and the traditional marketing worked so far, but it's not gonna work anymore. We see that we want to know who is behind the company. We want to share the same values. Even marketing talks about values and mission and the why. So remember, people trust people. There is no more B2B, B2C, especially since there is today everybody can start a business, everybody's a thought leader, and so on. So how are you different? There is no B2B, no B2C. There is human to human. I'm sure you have heard this before. I didn't invent it. It's H2H, human to human, because people want to trust people. And they have always trusted people more than anything else, because it's in our DNA. We're tribal. We need to see a face to connect. Top talent follows also visionary leaders. Your leadership brand helps attract the right executives. This is to support your company. Investors fund clarity, traction, and trust. Your role as an advisor, board member, independent director is to ensure the company delivers all three. So your personal brand is a competitive advantage to help build trust, clarity, and traction. And your network, online and offline, is what help you land your next opportunities, board positions or others. Another example here, you have Google on one side and the CEO of Google on the other side. If you see the numbers at the bottom, I don't know how clear it is for you. On Google, this is the same post. It got 2,000 likes. On the CEO profile, it's 32,000. This is more than 10 times. Why? Because, again, we connect with humans. We do not care about companies, but we care about, are we aligned? Are they inspiring us? Can we learn from them? So that's why they share the same post, but of course it gets more traction on the personal profile. And this is backed by data. Brand messages are reshared 24 times more frequently via an employee social media profile than the company. And also remember that LinkedIn is a business. When you share something on your company profile, of course you get this little pop-up saying, do you want to boost it with ads, with money? LinkedIn is a business. So when you share something on your company, they want you to pay because they know they're not giving you the visibility and engagement you wish to have. But they are not charging people yet. So that's why the engagement is higher, but also because people want people. So really leverage your personal brand. And we can discuss at the end if you feel like, sometimes professionals feel like, but am I allowed to share that? How is my employee going to see it? How can I combine different hats and so on? We can cover that. And again, some additional data, leads that come through an individual social media profile convert more. Again, H2H philosophy. And according to Brandfog, 82%, which is a marketing agency and doing research, 82% of respondents are more likely to trust a company whose CEO and leadership team engage on social media, are visible, they put themselves out there. And in a highly competitive space, AI and content-driven, authentic personal branding is your competitive advantage again. It's a must. It's not about hiding behind the company. It's about putting yourself out there. It's a strategic tool, being on LinkedIn, to stand out. I mean, to be honest, I'm sure you know that because you are here today. So you know that. It builds trust and credibility. So I will go super fast. It enhances visibility and influence in your industry, attracts the right connections and open doors. So when it comes to job search, again, some more data for you to be aware of this. 67% of companies review candidates' LinkedIn profile before extending job offers. I have also coached CEOs of large companies on their LinkedIn profile. And I remember one of them in Norway. I told him, I mean, this is great. I'm super happy to work with you, but like, you have a company that is doing well. Why are you here with me? I usually help attract the first customers or land the next, change a career, land new opportunities. So where are you at in your journey? And he said, Raya, when I'm in a meeting with a client and I know I'm in competition with another supplier, actually, I had twice clients who told me they have been looking at my LinkedIn profile to make the final decision. So I do need to have a strong brand. I do need to maximize on LinkedIn, because in the end, it seems like when they have two different options, they go with the one that they feel they connect with. We are in a social media age, and decision-making is going through that process. LinkedIn is the number one platform. Jobs are filled through networking, online and offline. We know that most jobs, 85%. And being active helps you become more discoverable, on top of the mind. People remember you, know of you. You're easy to reach out to. You're one DM away. And it helps build credibility and trust. So people know you before even getting in touch with you, which speeds up the process. This is why in my inbox, I get, Raya, can you please advise us on fundraising, on scaling? Can you work with us? Because I don't need to pitch myself anymore. My content is there. My brand is there. It's working for me. And this is also what you can do for yourself. You would not have to pitch yourself anymore or apply to a position anymore, because they come to you. They know of you. You're on top of their mind. So now, to perform on LinkedIn, first we need to understand a bit better LinkedIn. This is a knowledge sharing and high engagement platform. The algorithm rewards profile that creates value. Because when you create value, you get a comment, you get a like, and you rise in the feed, and more people see you. If you don't create value for others, you do not get the like, or from outside your network, really. Your friends are maybe always there to support you, but you want to expand that network. The purpose for LinkedIn is to make LinkedIn a more valuable platform for professionals. Valuable meaning knowledge sharing. And you have seen that there are courses on LinkedIn, and so on. Because for them, it's not just a job search platform anymore, like it used to be not 20 years ago, but like 10, 12 years ago. It's beyond that. This is a knowledge sharing, networking platform. And the winners are those who, in the end, know how to write, because it's a platform where you write, engage, and create value for others through content. And before creating content, we take a little step back as well. So now we understand the intention of LinkedIn, and we need to align with it. Here it's about psychology, and you understand it. People have short attention spans. We only get one chance to make a first impression, and that's valid also on LinkedIn. So what does it mean? Some common mistakes to avoid that weaken your personal brand. You already have some in mind, I'm sure. I'm going to list them here. These are some I have, and I'm sure you even have others in mind. For example, an outdated photo or incomplete profile. The banner doesn't exist, for example. Or experience is very limited. Doesn't communicate clearly what you do, how you help, who you help. And clear value proposition and communication. No post, no engagement. Looks passive or disconnected. Overly promotional, humble brag. Like I mentioned, the continuous post, or I'm humbled and honored to have been chosen for this amazing award, and I joined this amazing team, and I thank everybody. It's good from time to time, but it's like the Pareto rule, 80% creating value for the others, 20% a little bit of humble brag, not just humble brag. Vague headline. If it's just consultant, advisor, leader, says a lot, says nothing. Missing board roles or metrics, achievements, and endorsements. It's always better to have people talk about us than the opposite of us talking about ourselves, So you need endorsements, testimonials. Not sharing insights on government's innovation, leadership, or industry trends. Put yourself out there, show people what you have in your brain. few relevant connections in the circle, investors, C-level, and lacking recommendation or media mentions. We don't always have media mentions, but recommendations, you can get that from clients, if you're allowed to, from previous team members, from partners, maybe sponsors, and so on. And to optimize your profile, this is very, very important. You have to turn it as a landing page. So you're all in business, you understand conversion, sales funnels, and so on. You need to apply that to LinkedIn. Your profile is not a CV. Don't write it. Nobody should write it at the third person. Everybody knows it's only us having access to our own profile, no third person. We are personal, we are authentic, we are approachable. Communicate from top to bottom how you help, who you do it for, what you do. ICP, ideal customer profile, if you want to target, customers, the companies that where you sit on the board or potentially are also customers. So who do you do it for? The banner communicates your message, plus ideally a call to action. Contact me, join my newsletter, reach out, next event. Your tagline, the title, explains what's in it for the reader, because again, short attention spans, we need to get them to understand very quickly what's in it for them. So how you help, who you do it for, what you do, and metrics to add authority. Some examples of professionals I have coached. Very quickly, you can see their banner communicates something. Let's look at Anna, Dr. Anna Eckhart. You transform your company, we transform you people. There is a communication here. What they do, they transform people. It already tells about digitalization, maybe leadership. And in her tagline, it's very clear. And she also became one of my board members. She joined my board last year. And her tagline says, I help organizations thrive by developing their leaders, people, and teams. It's very clear what she does, who she does it for. Anastasia, which was a difficult case technically, because she is the CEO of a company in big data and sustainability. So both topics, honestly, hard to write about, not very sexy, but we manage, and she is thriving on LinkedIn. So from the banner, she communicates no more chaos. That's the value proposition in ESG data. It's very clear. CEO at Sirius, and here we've been actually talking a lot about her tagline, what she should, we test. It's about A/B testing as well. But she specifies that that she's the CEO of the company, and they are into metals, mining, and energy. And same for the others. Depending on their profile, what they do, their intention, their next steps, they have different profiles designed differently. The foundation for your profile. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah, no, that's the right slide. So define your unique value proposition. What do you want to be known for? This is a little exercise to do later on for you by yourself. So what industries do you specialize in? Because this is going to help you create that first impression, that tagline, that banner, that communication. So what industries do you specialize in? What expertise, governance expertise do you bring? Maybe strategy, ESG, risk management. Be specific. What are your values? What do you want to communicate? What are your strengths? What comes to you naturally? So gain clarity on these questions so you know what to talk about and who to talk to, your ideal customer. And I'm sure you already have the answers in mind, or at least some. Yes, I mentioned Anastasia. So very quickly, Anastasia, I think usually I work over 5-6 sessions with leaders to have them build their brand. And Anastasia, after session 2, she was going viral because we really go through the content creation, the narrative, the storytelling, what kind of support, what kind of material, how to package it, how to present, how to write, and so on and so on. So it's very effective. And as Anastasia managed to position herself and gain a lot of visibility in this very, if we can say, unsexy environment, metals, mining, energy, and data. Very hard to write on, but she's done it greatly. This is also another exercise. I will give access to this presentation to the team, and it will be shared. So you can do these exercises by yourself. And here we want to optimize your profile. So communicate from top to bottom. Again, I'm repeating the same things because I really, this is crucial. This is the foundation. How you help, who you do it for, what you do, and your profile is not a CV. The banner, again, needs to communicate your message. And you have examples from my previous clients to show you a little bit what to do. So value proposition, ideal call to action. You can use canva.com to create a nice banner with words if you're not familiar with how to create a banner. And you can write, statements such as helping boards prepare for IPO. Helping who? Boards do what? IPO. Your tagline, again, how you help, who you do it for, same thing. And please avoid the open to work, on your picture. It just gives a signal, a wrong signal. We can cover that if you disagree with me at the end. But it doesn't give a good signal to the job market. It makes you look like you're single and looking for somebody, who I'm single. That's we can compare it to that, to the dating space. So you're not open to work, okay? You're a thought leader and you're waiting for opportunities. You speak from a position of strength. You can write as a tagline some examples: 2x board member, corporate governance, ESG and impact investing, helping companies, blah, blah, blah. I would even start with maybe a combination of 2x board members helping companies straight away, explaining how you help the others, and some other examples here. You can also use my profile as a foundation to get inspired. I try to be very clear. I also change it from time to time to test, depending on my intention, my learning as well, how we are evolving as a company. So here at that time, when I took this screenshot a few days ago, and I changed it already to make it different, but it stays around the same thing: bringing together board members, investors, and founders. I add metrics. I have accelerated thousands of companies. Actually, since 2015, I didn't add that because we're limited in terms of space. I add more credibility by mentioning that I'm listed on the top 100 most influential women in the VC space, 5 times board member, and so on and so on. So remember, people don't have time. It's all about building credibility, trust, and what's in it for them immediately when they come to your profile. The About section is not really a bio. It's more than a bio. This is an example from one of my other clients, Jairo as well, who's been doing great, scaling on LinkedIn, doing much better than me on LinkedIn. And as you can see in his bio, it's very personal and is an authentic touch. He is a SEO fanatic. So his company offers SEO as a service. SEO fanatic. I help who? CEOs and their marketing team to boom, boom. He explains value propositions, straight to the point, no long text, not overwhelming. He's very effective. And that also gives an idea of his effectiveness, actually, when he works with clients. And at the end, why SEO fanatic? I have worked with paid channels, blah, blah, blah. That's a little bit the bio part. As you see, it's very limited. So your About section is the opportunity to explain again, like you would do on a landing page, how you help, who you help, what you do to help. With a call to action, contact me, for example. We avoid self-promo. You can actually add testimonials. I have seen that. And again, it's not a template. It's not a one thing fits it all. It depends on your brand. This is why I work closely with the clients I coach. It depends on their intention, what they want to achieve. But I have also seen some that put testimonials in the bio section, and it works. Like, this is what Paul says about me, a quote: great to work with James. He has helped me achieve this. James, then 2, 3, and then he starts explaining how he helps. We can be different. We stand out. We avoid self-promo, avoid writing in a third person, and tell a story at a personal touch like Jairo is doing here. And this is actually Jairo. This is a continuation of his profile. So in the feature section, this is also a section that is a bit underdeveloped on some profiles. It's the opportunity for you to continue building the relationship like a funnel. So here you can capture emails, showcase your expertise, depending again on your company, what are your next steps, and so on. You can share relevant links, get visitors to book a call. For example, this could be, if you are an advisor board member, you could allow people to book a 20-minute call if they, and you can be very specific. If you match this, happy to have a introductory call with you. Join your newsletter, showcase your portfolio. Always max 3 offers in this feature section because this is what actually appears on your profile. Ideally, max 3 offers. This section helps you create a funnel, take the visitor to the next level of your relationship. Recommendation section, get your clients, ex-clients to write a recommendation for you. Let others speak about you. You can also send recommendation requests. I would recommend you now to do it. And you can even write what you would like in that recommendation, because sometimes people feel like they don't feel, you want to make it easy for them, basically. You can say, oh, would be love to, if you could mention this about how we worked, make it short. I don't need a big, a lot of content. I would really appreciate it. So this week, I recommend you to contact 5 clients if you have that around you and ask for a recommendation so it can go on your profile on LinkedIn. Last part, and I think we are on time, so I look forward to your questions at the end. Last part, it's about content. Content is key, but copywriting is king. How we write on LinkedIn really matters. As you notice here, so these are some screenshots of posts I created. You can see that it's only the first 3 lines that are visible. The first 3 lines are called the hook. It's 90% of the work. So does it invite the reader to read more? Does it spark curiosity and engage people to read further? Do they click on see more or not? Because if you can write the best piece of your life, but if the hook is poorly written, they will not click on see more, and you would have invested a lot of time in creating that and energy and intentions, but it would not deliver. It would not give you a return on investment because the hook is not optimal. So spend time on the hook. Another copywriting technique, very important, is your post concise and easy to read. You have to go straight to the point. Short sentences, short paragraphs, remove unnecessary words. I often tell my clients, if I were to pay you $100 each time you remove a word from that post, how many words would you remove? How much money would you be making with me? So remove words. There are so many unnecessary words we write. Look at them. Is this necessary to this sentence? Can I still understand the sentence? Yes, remove, remove, remove. Create space to make it easy to go through the text so it's not overwhelming when you open the post and you're like, oh my God, this is like a block of bricks. I cannot read this. Make it easy. And avoid copy pasting from ChatGPT and this dash, because that's very native to ChatGPT. And when we see it, we're like, oh, another piece of AI content. Where is the authenticity, please? Third pillar of content writing. Is your post entertaining, inspiring, or educational? Your post needs to create a reaction plus create value. And you can create value in different ways: by entertaining, giving them a good laugh, making them brighten their day, still connected to your industry, of course. Is it inspiring? Does it help them connect with you? Is it educational? This is where you build credibility. So the 3 content pillars, entertaining, inspiring, educational, they all have 3 different purposes. 1, the entertaining one helps you grow your audience. The inspiring helps you connect. The educational helps you solidify your relationship with them by creating extra value and showing your your leadership, the way you think, how you support others, and so on. So this is where you really solidify your brand and position yourself as a thought leader with true educational content. And you can play around with them. Ideally, I would say, 70% educational, 20 inspiring, 10 entertaining if you feel like it. And the 80-20 rule. Create value 80% of the time. We mentioned that in the beginning. What is your audience interested in knowing and learning? And avoid the humble brag. We mentioned that. Last point, we're not done yet, but this is just last point for this section. For each post, define who's your target customer or target audience. What are the problems you're solving for them? What are the solutions you are offering to solve their problems? And what is your ideal call to action? I'm very aware that I'm overwhelming you with a lot of things, but I'm trying to really give you as much as possible. When I coach, it's over 5-6 sessions, which is 10 to 12 hours. But I really try to do as much as possible. And if you go through it, I hope you will be able to apply these strategies. And if you need extra help, of course, you can reach out to me. To sum up, some examples here to help you. LinkedIn post ideas as a board member. You could write, for example, about most governance advice. You could start like this, most governance advice feels outdated. What I learned after 3 board seats. This could be your hook. These are already hooks. And as you see, we're going straight to the point. Another example, here's how I help the scale-up navigate ESG requirements and land Series B. Do what? Land Series B. How you helped, who you helped, a scale-up navigate ESG. How you helped them navigate. This is already a hook. You could also open to other board members to connect with them to expand your network. Calling other board members, what's the one thing you wish you knew before joining? And here you have several other ideas like 3 mistakes boards make when entering new markets. This is to give you an inspiration. And again, for every post, like I mentioned previously, we talked about problem, solution, ideal customer, and so on. A post equals a problem plus a solution. Talk about the problem, deliver the solution. Next steps and call to action for you this week. Optimize your LinkedIn profile if it's not already done the way I suggest you to do it. Post at least once a week, once a month. Writing is like a muscle. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like, I need to post 3 times per week, otherwise I'm not going to grow. Just do what you can, following the best practices. Get practice. It's really a muscle. Once you have posted once a month, then you try to say, okay, now I feel like I have another idea. I read a comment here. It gives me an idea. You can also get inspired by comments to further develop, to create another post and refer to that even and tag the person who commented, for example, that you're co-creating with the community and giving them also credit. So you start with once a month. If you're not very familiar with the platform yet, then you will increase, twice a month, and naturally you will get to once a week, 3 times a week. It's a muscle, it will flow. And you do not have to post depending on your growth and again, your goals and intentions. If you are a business owner and you come to me and say, Raya, I need more clients, we're going to work on content, on delivering, month 2, we are posting 3 times per week, good content, great content actually that gets you investors or clients or whoever you have the intention to attract. But if your intention is to transition towards a new role and so on, we also adapt to you, of course. But just remember, writing is a muscle. It gets easier over time. You learn what's interesting for your audience. You are receptive. You see what works, what kind of DMs you get, what kind of opportunities you get, and you will adapt. You can also connect with 5 key industry leaders that inspire you or you want to connect with. What I recommend you to do is that if their profile is open, comment under their post. Start to get to know them there. Instead of just shooting a DM, start building relationship in the comment section in the public, under the eyes of the public. And if you want more board opportunities, stay active on LinkedIn. It's really a great opportunity for you to build your network, scale your network like you can rarely do, and engage with other relevant content to continue building your network with those who create content. Attend, of course, networking events, conferences. This is also great. And here I'm giving you another little tip. Maybe you're already doing this. Pitch yourself as a speaker. I rarely join networking events unless they are small, because you understand, you need to maximize your time. When I am interested in a big conference and so on, I try to put myself as a speaker, because then I can speak. It's one to many. You can also do that, which will also help build your credibility and help you create content. And consider membership or advisory roles to build your credibility. You are all at different stages in your career. So if you don't have a board position yet, mentorship and advisory roles are a step towards that, which also helps you build credibility on LinkedIn, because you're mentioning all of this. And maybe one last advice: be your own media agency. Don't outsource that. It's very hard to outsource authenticity to somebody else. And I have seen many cases of actually agencies not only writing content that is just generic, but also copy-pasting content from other thought leaders. It happened to me, where I saw my content in other places. And when I reached out, they said, well, we're sorry, it's the intern or the agency. So be very careful on not trying to find a shortcut. Once you have created your content with your voice, with your style, then you can onboard someone who can repurpose that content. Yes, this is it for today. Thank you very much. I'm happy we have almost 20 minutes left. So I'm here for you. I hope it was clear. I know there was a lot. So I'm open to any question. Thank you for little hearts and your little claps. Really appreciate it.
Hey, Raja. Fantastic session. A lot of key takeaways, right, in 40 minutes. But a quick question for you. You mentioned one pillar as entertaining, right? So for someone looking at board roles, right, which has a certain gravitas associated with it,
Yeah.
how would an entertaining pillar go with the brand image?
Yes. Well, it depends what is the entertaining content. It could be, for example, I put out there 2 years ago a piece that went viral. And I'm in that piece, I mentioned that I mentioned that here it was a meme basically of people doing push-ups and one faking the push-ups. Maybe you've seen it, right? And it was a consultant. Okay, so it was two people doing push-ups, and one of them, doing push-ups, and the other one faking push-ups, and they had like help. It was a fake push-up, and then I said, "This is what the difference between those who do the work and those who don't do the work." Okay, referring to consultants who don't have experience building businesses, right, or professionals who don't have experience building businesses. So that went viral because it was funny. It was a meme that was going out there that I repurposed to make it clear, to make a difference between those who have built companies and those who haven't built companies and still give advice to others or pretend, if you see what I mean. So I think once you have started following up, I mean, it's hard for me to really give this example without showing you. I didn't plan on having that as an example in my presentation. But once you start also to write, don't go straight away directly to entertaining. You will start to see others resharing entertaining content when you're more active on LinkedIn, or you can start already, looking at, you have seen some pieces. Think about, how can I repurpose it for my industry? What is the message there? What do they refer to? What do they make fun of? You see what I mean?
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks very much. It's very helpful. So the context is important, right? That's what I.
Yes, it's not. Yes, absolutely. It's not just like putting something funny. Try to show intelligence behind, basically.
Got it. Thank you.
Critical thinking. Show critical thinking. Show intelligence. Show your your personality, how you analyze, how you took this meme and repurposed it to your industry, to maybe criticize something with humor, something that happened, a legislation. But to go to really make an impact on LinkedIn, you do need to sometimes make some provocative statements to stand out, to have a voice, because people like also those who have a voice out there and they're saying what others don't dare saying. You see? Okay, I will take another question here. I see from Leon. Excuse me, I will unmute you now.
Hi, thanks again for presentation. It's a lot of content to absorb. I have the following question. You and some other experts talk about sharing content as a major activity for building a brand. And one part of this is becoming thought leader on some specific subject where you're an expert. What about people who are generalists and who are not experts in any one particular field?
Well, that's your expertise. You're a generalist. So as a generalist, I don't know you, Leon, yet, but I assume you have a CEO profile, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So I'm a mentalist as well. No, I'm joking. So you are able to connect the dots between departments, operations, people, minds, and so on. So you can talk about that. Actually, this is a super valuable profile for boards and advisory boards, because we need people who connect the dots. And you have so much, there is so much content you can write about. You're the advisor to the CEO. You know what it's like to be a CEO. You have seen so many problems within maybe your company and other companies. You can talk about all of that. You do not need to just talk about like risk management, right? This is part of your identity. This is part of your DNA and your competitive advantage. It is you are a generalist, and this is how you help. And this is an extremely valuable profile. I was actually talking to one of our, people in our network who's on the advisory board of NASDAQ companies. So this is NASDAQ companies advisory board. And he said that what they're looking for now for their companies at NASDAQ, what they recommend is not to have the past, the old way of doing it was to have 2 CTO profiles, 2 tech profiles on the board, 2 risk management profile on the board, 2 now they want generalists to be able to connect the dots with the departments.
Why is that so important?
Because the world is moving very fast. And we need to be able to understand how AI is impacting communication, how marketing is working with operations. We cannot work in silos anymore. We work, a company is an ecosystem, and this is what people start to understand.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So write about be true to yourself. It's your competitive advantage.
Thank you.
I've seen some, maybe another hand. Who else has a question? Christina.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's more of a comment rather than a question, and it pertains to the language that we are using when we're sharing posts and also our location. So I'm based in the Czech Republic and I post regularly in English, and this leads to a penalty of lower visibility because my language is not aligned with my geography. So this is a consideration we need to work with when we project ourselves out there. And a practice that I noticed that works very well for colleagues who are looking for board roles is to essentially follow other people who are on board roles. Absolutely. It is really the nitty-gritty of following, and then of course commenting on the languages in those posts. And I believe that helps very well. The algorithms have changed tremendously this year. In particular, I'm sure, Raja, you also observed that. And I think we have more heavy lifting ahead of us, both in terms of posting our own thought leadership, but also really pay more attention to smart comments on the type of people we have in our network.
100%. 100%. Thank you for sharing that as well. And the question about language, it's, I'm based in Norway, and I write in English. And, it's always about what is your intention? Who do you want to work with? I work with the world. So English works for me. And the Norwegians who know me, well, they need to speak English anyway to work with me. So they reach out, the right ones reach out in the end. And of course, there are missed opportunities in Norway because I don't speak Norwegian and I don't make the effort to do. But it's my choice. It's my choice. I'm an international person. I build international communities of founders, board members, and investors. So it's aligned. So as long as it's aligned with what you want to do, I think it may be difficult in the beginning to if you're Czech Republic and you want to attract an international word, but it's a build up. Thank you. Anybody else? I've seen another hand. There are so many people, so I have to go through everybody to see a hand. Maybe there are some questions in the comment section, and we have 7 minutes. I see from Indira, this is an issue where many generalist leaders get it wrong and get unnecessarily stuck. Being able to connect dots is an incredible strategic advantage. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think I see questions here, or maybe this one. What is your advice for people with multiple identities? Great question. For whom getting a board position, a board role is only a marginal part of their career portfolio. How should they communicate coherently from this place of just communicate all of them? We will see this more and more often. I give you my concrete example. I am a founder. I am an investor. I am a board member. I sit on investment committee. Now my audience knows I'm all of this. That's it. So just go for it. You have multiple identities in one. Just go for it as long as it's professional and you know who to talk to, your target audience. There is no problem with that. Of course, I would need to look exactly at your different activities to be able to advise you properly, because there is like the theory, and then there is like how to really implement it strategically and effectively. But it's possible. I'm going through everybody. Any other question here? No, we're good. We're ready. Okay, Savita. Ask to unmute.
Sorry, I have been a dinosaur on LinkedIn and just very recently started updating and just putting some comments on the LinkedIn, etc. The question I have is, how important is it to have all the sections of the LinkedIn profile, like experience, skills, like literally putting your resume on it? How important is that? Or is it fine to just really put in the key things, as you talked about, the key sections?
It depends, again, what's your intention and where you want to go, where you want to be, what kind of opportunities you want to attract. Then you have to match your profile with that. What do they expect? For example, we have basically 90% of our clients coming through LinkedIn. So of course, I need a very strong recommendation section, right?
Yeah.
So I focus on that. Same, I need a good tagline, because I need to very quickly explain to people what's in it for them. But that's the foundation for everybody. And content is also very important, because it gives time to people to get to know you without having to commit to you. So I don't know what you have right now on your section, on your profile. Not all sections are important. Like, for example, skills, not so important, I would say. I still have it. It's there, but it's not so important. Or words, it's as long as it gives you credibility. Builds trust, credibility, authority, and this goes through how your LinkedIn page is designed and the content you put out there.
What about experience, going through every year, from this year to this year? How important is that? like for example, I'm looking at a profile where I'm, combination of being an exec as a leader, as well as, as a non-exec board member. How would you position then?
Well, I think for me, it's kind of like it goes together. There's you put them both, and you explain how you helped. Again, it's about clarity. How you helped there. What have you done? Even though it's a non-exec or executive position, valuable work happened, value creation happened. So showcase that. We don't have to list everything, even though I list a lot of things. If you go on mine, you will see like 40 open positions because I list also my investor positions, but that's aligned with my intentions. Okay, 3 more minutes together. So any other question?
Hi, Raya, that was excellent. Thank you. I know we're talking about LinkedIn, but I'm just thinking about multitasking, and if you're putting all the effort into posts on LinkedIn, and you sort of alluded to LinkedIn maybe having a time span and something else coming, what are the other platforms you would consider if you were going to, and would you use the same content or would you adapt it?
So what are the other platforms? Again, what depends on your business. There are difficulties and challenges in native writing from a platform to another. I will tell you, for example, X, the X Twitter, great platform to now start growing, but actually hard to get started on. So you really need more consistency. It's also more based in the US, so you need to know where is your audience. So every platform has its pros and cons. LinkedIn, I find it great because it's about writing. You can write quite a lot, to showcase your expertise, while X is like, I find X very hard. I find it very hard. So I go also where it comes easily to me. Where is my zone of genius? Where do I feel comfortable? Where is my natural talent, right? LinkedIn, great. Instagram, very hard too. You have to be very visual. Forget about it. Facebook is over. So what is left? For the professional world, LinkedIn. If you are more US based, start learning about X. If you are more like into US. But it requires its own copywriting techniques.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, if you are here today only, to learn about LinkedIn, try to learn about LinkedIn and see how it goes. Don't expect like a speed immediately, especially if you're doing it by yourself. But appreciate the slow growth, the 10 likes, the 30 likes, and always keep in mind, how can I create value for the others? How can I make it easy for them to consume the content? How can they feel like they learn something that they can share with others? I've seen this post from Dan. Dan talked about this. Dan did this. He mentioned this, his expertise. You should read, you should follow Dan. I have people, honestly, like I met an investor that I co-invest with last week, and he said that I am writing a book and I took screenshots from your past posts. And I'm like, I hope at least you're going to give me credit for that, You see, so you want that kind of value creation so much so that other people use it. Have that in mind. Well, thank you so much for today. It's a pleasure sharing with top leaders ready to, learn and expand. So I hope to stay in touch. Ask for my contact details, email or LinkedIn, and I hope to come back. Thank you very much for today.